Welcome to week 4 on Fourth and Wine. And today we are going to talk about the Eagles' performance against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa. So keep listening. You are now checking out Fourth and Wine. So listen up. This week's wine is going to be a red wine for all the blood that was shed. But it is going to be a red wine. It is going to be a Malbec. This wine is called a Trivento. It's an Argentinian Malbec. The grapes were harvested in 2022 year. The wine is a simple bottle. It is a tall bottle with a red cap and top label. The overall label on the bottle of wine is white with like a silver embroider that is actually textured, which feels pretty cool. But anyway, this wine was harvested in Argentina, the Mendoza region, to be more specific. This region is the size of New York State, but actually only 5% of this land is actually used to harvest grapes. Argentina is like ranked top 5 wine producing countries in the world. So if you want a good wine, and specifically a Malbec, which this grape is a prominent and one of the most harvested and one of, I guess, the best grapes harvested in Argentina, you should always try like an Argentinian Malbec. This wine is said to be aged in oak, and some people do have a preference on whether wine is aged in oak or steel barrels, and I think honestly it's just preference. So the difference probably is steel can give you more of a clean, crisp taste. There isn't too many lingering factors. You'll taste exactly the grape. You'll taste just the grape. But when it's aged in oak, you can get some of those wood flavors. It tends to have more spice because the oak is natural. It's wood. So Argentina, a big part of their culture is beef. So a Malbec pairs very, very well with beef and red meats. So let's pour this wine up. Let's have a sip. We'll try it out, and I'll give you my honest review. So red wines tend to have a lot of tannins, and you can taste the tannins in this one. It kind of gives the wine, from what I've read, a stronger feel, maybe sometimes a little aftertaste. And I can taste it, but overall, I think this wine was a lot sweeter than I was expecting. It's not super bitter. And I think overall, if you had this with a cut of beef, it'd be chef's kiss. So if I had this, I'd probably get like a short rib or something like that. And I'm sure it'd be like top tier, amazing to pair with. I do taste a bit of spice, but overall, I do think this drink is solid. So I would give it out of 5 stars. I'd rank this Malbec wine, this particular brand, a 3.3 out of 5. So I think it's pretty good. Overall, I think the drink is pleasurable, unlike today's game. So let's get into the Eagles game. So just a quick recap of the game, high level and numbers. The final score was 33-16 Bucks. Eagles loss. Total yards, rushing yards today was 113. Total passing yards, 158. Jalen Hurts had a completion rate of 60%. He scored 1 touchdown. He was sacked 6 times. Fumbled the ball twice, and 1 fumble was a recovery. So overall, the game was not the best. So all phases of this team struggled today. All of them. Special teams, offense, defense, all struggled. And it seemed like they were ready for the bye when they came into week 4. What I need them to do with their bye week, one, get healthy. But also, I need them to go back. I need them to regroup, hash out the issues, and they need to come back stronger, for sure. 1,000%. So let me start off with the special teams. Trash. Penalties. Keely Ringo, it was just also sloppy. Keely Ringo runs into Cooper DeJean. Like, how? Cooper DeJean, also, by the way, has been the Eagles' punt returner now that Britton Covey is out for a few weeks because of a broken shoulder, I believe it is. So Cooper DeJean has been the punt returner, and he starts off with a fumble. Now, it probably would have been a penalty, but they reviewed it, the refs, and originally I was going to blame the refs for this one because the defender, the corner, Josh Hayes, ran into Cooper DeJean, which you cannot do. But after the game, in true beautiful Eagles DB fashion, Isaiah Rodgers says he pushed Josh Hayes into Cooper in hopes that he'd draw the flag, whatever. Bruh, what really was the thought process on that? I guess you thought you'd create some trickery. I guess you thought you were smarter than the other guys. You thought you were smarter than the refs. You thought you could outsmart them. And I don't know if the Eagles think they're smarter than everyone else, but football isn't that complex. Play the game. Like, don't overcomplicate it because now you cost your team a penalty. And we needed it because defense was sticking it up. Offense couldn't get anything going. Like, football isn't that complex. Sidebar, like, ladies, you might think football is like, I'm overwhelmed. It's just too much. Yo, I'm telling you, watch a few games. It's not that hard to learn it. Not hard at all. Very simple. You just got to take the time to watch a couple games. Watch a few games, and I promise you, you'll pick up at least the basics of it. But yes, special teams, sloppy. And I'm not surprised. They've looked sloppy over the last few weeks. But let's move along. Let's talk about the offense a little bit. And let's start with the biggest elephant in the room. It's Jalen. It is Jalen Hurts. So just to read his stats again, he had a completion percentage of 60%, threw for 158 yards. He rushed for 20 yards. He had a passer rating of 85, a QBR, which is a quarterback rating, of 56, and he was sacked 6 times. So let's start off with this. Jalen is predictable. I feel like he can't read the field and he can't see his receivers or know what to do without rolling right and then making the release. He has a very, very shaky pocket presence. And I feel like he's not fully aware of what's going on around him. Or if he is, when he's in the pocket, he's deep in it. And he's sitting in it and he's like, you know what? I'm going to stay here. I feel like he looks at it like, okay, I see a blitz coming, but I'm going to stay here. I'm going to trust that my line will protect me and I'll ignore it, which I don't think is the proper answer to handling a blitz. Because he can't read, he's not paying it any mind. I guess he's putting all his trust in his line, which unfortunately Lane Johnson is out. So that's a key lineman for Jalen. You fumble the ball because you still want to throw and you got defenders in your face, bro. They're in your face. Another glaring issue with Jalen Hurts is that he can't hold on to the ball. So like in that moment, he fumbled the ball, attempting to stand in the pocket, stand strong, stand firm, move up, and still throw the ball. He fumbles because the ball is batted. You got a defender right in your face. Just go down at this point. But this is a glaring issue for Jalen. The turnovers, you cannot win. If you lose the turnover battle, 9 times out of 10, you're losing the game. But the Eagles have been very successful at not losing the game, even with losing the turnover battle. But you can't win games like that. You don't make it to an NFC championship. You don't make it to the playoffs. You don't get to the Super Bowl if you can't protect the ball. I think if he had better awareness, he was able to adjust and not be so predictable, it could work. Another thing about this offense was the line. The offensive line. Lane Johnson was the only one that I recall being out today. Cam Jurgens left the game for a little bit, and Landon Dickerson moved in at center. But Lane Johnson was the only one out today, and they allowed Jalen Hurts to be sacked 6 times. Jalen had no time to read the field and to make plays today, which is why we should have been running the ball more. With a lineman out like Lane Johnson, maybe Jalen wasn't feeling as confident anymore. And with your top receivers being out, you probably are having a hard time with some of the new receivers trying to get open. These are new guys. You don't practice with them all the time. You probably should, but you don't. And you probably needed a little bit more time for the play to develop, and your line didn't give it to you today. So that was another thing. So when you realize that that wasn't working, you don't have your top receivers. You pretty much all you got out there right now is some guys that you brought up from the practice squad, because you don't have any of your top 3. You don't have AJ, you don't have Devontae, and you don't have Britton Covey, who you've been using as your third guy. So why aren't we running the ball more with Saquon? When Saquon was given the ball in the Bucs game, he was explosive. He had explosive moments. His biggest moment was a 59-yard play. Like, why wouldn't you give him a guy like that on your team? Why wouldn't you give him the ball? He set us up for a touchdown. But Saquon only had 10 carries in the game against the Buccaneers. 10. What is the deal here? Why did we choose not to run the ball? The Bucs struggled to stop the run in the last 3 weeks. You should have exposed that. In the second quarter, at the end of the second quarter, Saquon had only had 2 carries. Two. So who's calling the plays here? Like, what are the coaches doing? What are the coaches doing? What is Kellen Moore? What is Nick Sirianni? What are they doing? Last week, Coach Sirianni stated that the coaching staff collabs on plays. Great. That is great. You should be collaborating together to develop a game plan and to come up with plays. And maybe he was misunderstood, but like fully, what does that mean? If you're collabing on the day of, during the game, who is calling the plays? It should be coming from one person and one person only. And right now, I think that person should be Kellen Moore, because I'm not sure if Nick Sirianni's strong suit is offensive play calling. He was an offensive coordinator, don't get me wrong, but it needs to come from one person. When you have too many cooks in the kitchen, when everyone is in charge, no one is in charge. And this might be the issue. There's too many voices, and that can lead to chaos, which leads to a lack of leadership. So who is leading this team? I'm really not sure. And this is my problem with the Eagles. One person, I feel like, needs to be making decisions. During the week, we collab, we game plan, and we execute that game plan in practice. And on game day, direction comes from one person. One. I don't need a collaborative effort on game day. It takes up too much time. And who do I listen to if I'm a player? Who do I respect? Who do I go to? Now, our defense couldn't stop a runny nose, child. Couldn't stop a thing. our DBs were getting cooked, especially in the first quarter. We gave up 14 points in the first quarter, 10 in the second. The Bucs came out rolling, and now we are playing from behind. So now these collaborative coaches feel like we need to throw the ball. You got to let Jalen be Jalen. He doesn't have a strong arm. But you know what he is? He is athletic. No one asked, and I'm going to make this comparison, and this is the last time I'm going to do it. I might be lying, but I'm going to make this comparison. No one asked, and honestly, he did get a lot of flack for it. So let me not say no one asked him. But Lamar Jackson has won MVP by being himself, using his legs, being athletic. And I think Jalen is trying to move into become somebody he's just not. Be you, bro. Be you. But let's get back on this defense. So our defense gave up 14 points, 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. And the Bucs, they came out rolling. So now we are playing from behind on offense. The first 7 out of 10 plays before Tampa's first touchdown of the game were less than 10 yards. Baker lit us up with a bunch of short throws to start. The quick pass plays, because our pass defense is struggled. It struggled. They noticed last week you wasn't running on us. You weren't running the ball on us. So they said, okay, we'll adjust. We got 2 good receivers. We got Chris Godwin. We got Mike Evans. And we're going to use them. And we're going to throw a bunch of short plays. We're going to get our tight end involved. And our pass defense, they did not board the flight to Tampa. Them DBs was getting rolled over, okay? Defense gave up 347 receiving yards. Between the Bucs wide receivers, the top 2, Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, they had a total of 163 yards receiving. It's insane. So speaking of our DBs, CJ, I'm going to start here. Pitiful. Every game this season, unfortunately. He has given up a touchdown in each game every single week. And he talks a lot. He's spicy. He coming at you. He'll get in your head. But CJ, I'm tired, bro. I am tired. Where is the CJ from 2 years ago? Where is the CJ that was on the Lions? He was injured, but when he played, he showed up. He gave up the first touchdown of the game. Missing tackles. Let's get more into the missing tackles. Let's talk about Darius Slay and how many and how he's been missing tackles. He don't want to tackle. Like, I don't know. You don't want to get hurt, bro? Like, I don't know. But Darius Slay, you got beat a few times today as well. Bryce Huff, Josh Sweat. I'm just tired. I'm tired of this conversation. I'm really tired of this conversation. Y'all just haven't played well. Bryce Huff, I saw, removed everything from his Instagram and all that. You know what? Thank you, bro. Thank you. Because I need you to lock in. And I'm embarrassed for you. You're probably tired of people talking crap about you. This, that, and the other. Yeah, we're going to talk about you. I'm sorry. Like, somebody's got to start holding people accountable because I'm not sure if it's happening in that locker room. Josh Sweat finally got a sack under his belt today, week 4. Still unimpressed. I wasn't 100% impressed when Howie decided to give him, a contract, sign him, and let go of Hassan Reddick. I'm Temple all the way. But Avonte Maddox with a hold on the 3rd and 14 cost us big time. A missed tackle, like in open field. You diving at the receiver's feet. I watched it all game. I watched Baker get into the end zone because a defender was at his feet. Baker shook him off like he was a bug. N'Kobe Dean, they was right at you all game. And so I got a thing, and this isn't about N'Kobe Dean specifically, but N'Kobe Dean is the Eagles starter. But what happened to Devin White? Devin White must have pissed someone off, because why isn't he playing? There was so much talk about him during minicamp, training camp, off season, but where is he? Now he's out due to personal reasons. Devin White, I need you to talk to us, bro. I need you to talk to us. Who you pissed off, or what happened, and why haven't you played yet? But for real, this leads me into something else. What is the culture in this locker room? I'm not trying to nitpick. I sometimes hate when fans comment on the character of the players, but I'm going to comment and critique the performance and the playing, and I can only speculate. I'm not in the locker room. But after losing a game, going 2-2, being ranked number 3 in the NFC East, y'all on Instagram posting your outfits? Your outfit, bro? The game ended 30 minutes ago and you got blown up. If I'm upset about the loss, why aren't you? You're the one getting paid. You're the one out there. You're the one working. You're the one that love this game. I'm assuming you love this game. You've played it your entire life. And I'm not trying to attack the character, but I'm going to criticize the game because I'm upset. But y'all don't seem upset. Y'all aren't angry enough for me. You seem very content. Darius Slay tweeted right after the game, listing all his accolades, 6-time Pro Bowler, yada, yada, yada. Now, rather holding yourself and your team accountable, because as a team, you lost. You lost. You on Twitter coming at us because we telling you that you played poorly, or that your team lost, or that defense gave up 33 points. Bro, you feel like the heat comes on you. It's on everybody. Philly media is going to talk about every one of you, every single one of you. No, they shouldn't attack your character, but you lost. As a team, you lost. And the mentality to say, oh, well, I had a good game. Oh, I did my part, is loser mentality. That is loser behavior, because you play as a team. So I'm going to put all the blame on the vets that's in that locker room and the coaches, because what culture are you creating that these new players, the younger players coming in, just think I should be content because I did my job? I'm frustrated. The Eagles on paper have one of the best teams in the league. We should be able to find ways to win. We've got a great defensive coordinator, supposedly, a great offensive coordinator. Like, we need to be able to find ways to win. Yes, a lot of key players are out. They are injured. Yes, we have a list of them. We've got players on IR. But, bro, we still got the top running back in the league in Saquon Barkley. We have a great tight end in Dallas Goedert. Our offense line is supposed to be one of the best in the league, and we're missing one person. We're missing Lane. Granted, he is a big piece, but there's other guys on that line. And not being able to beat the Bucs, whose rushing defense was one of the lowest in the league heading into week 4, means you game planned wrong. The Bucs clearly have our card. They kicked us out of the wild card playoffs last season, blew us out, embarrassing. And they came prepared. Todd Bowles, the Buccaneers head coach, being a defensive-minded coach, watched our gameplay last week, and he drew up a plan. So clearly, we watched it. I think we watched the Bucs tape last week. I definitely do think the Eagles watched the Bucs tape last week and from last season, and they underestimated them. The Bucs are coming off of a loss. They are hungry. They lost last week and lost their perfect record to start the season. They are pissed. You underestimated them. Now, since I mentioned that we are now third in the NFC East, let's discuss the NFC East a little bit. Currently, as it stands in the NFC East, number 1 is the Washington Commanders. Number 2, the Dallas Cowboys. Number 3, the Philadelphia Eagles. And 4th, the New York Giants. The Commanders, y'all, are number 1 in the NFC East right now. And today, the Commanders got to win. Cowboys got to win on Thursday. And the Giants are in shambles. Cowboys beat the Giants on Thursday. And it looks like the Eagles are headed down a similar road. The Commanders came and they are really trying to make a name for themselves. And they are going to give the Cowboys and the Eagles a run for their money. Because usually when it comes to the NFC East, it's always a war between the Eagles and the Cowboys. But the Commanders said, no. I'm here. They got the new rookie QB, Jaden Daniels, been balling. They got new ownership. They got a new head coach. They got new coordinators. And they ain't come to play with y'all. The Commanders today beat the Arizona Cardinals 42-14, blown out. Their team wants it. They're hungry. They are assembling a team there. They are assembling a contender team in the NFC East. And the Cowboys and the Eagles are getting comfortable. The Eagles, more importantly, getting comfortable. The Commanders got fight. The Eagles don't have fight for me. And I'm going to sound like them crazy people that call into the radio station. I pay my hard-earned money to come and watch games. And while understanding we won't always win, that's just not the way things go. But I'm expecting a level of effort. I need my team to try. I spend my hard-earned money on their merch, and my team I feel like is okay with being mediocre. There's no hunger. There is no drive there. This is football, and so many other factors go into whether you can win a game or not. That game was a prime example that there was no preparation, and I blame the coaches for that. Y'all not preparing these guys for anything. Javon Hargrave, who is now with the Niners, said practice was soft. And it shows that the Eagles' practice, it's got to be soft. Y'all don't have some of the fundamentals, especially on defense. Coaching just seems to be, I'll decide Sunday what I'm going to do. Very chaotic. And something has got to change when it comes to all phases of this team. This team went out there and they weren't prepared. People hot. Yeah, it's 98 degrees out there. It feel like 100 and they said 108, 110, something like that. But some of y'all played in Georgia. So this means what y'all doing? What y'all doing during the week? Are y'all prepping? Where's the IVs? What are we doing to make sure we stay hydrated and we are ready? No one decided to check the weather. No one thought all that money that they give, and no one thought, let me check the weather. Let's prepare our players for everything, all situations. It's a disgrace, honestly, and I'm disappointed. The Eagles continue on this path. If they continue on this path, win or losing record in the regular season, I think if they don't make it to the playoffs, I think Sirianni might be asked to leave. I don't like calling for people's jobs, but I'm just giving what I think will happen. The team can't continue in this manner. If we continue like this, and even if we pull out wins, they will have a conversation with Nick Sirianni and if he stays or if he goes. If we continue like this, an NFC championship is the only thing, in my opinion, that'll save and keep his job. I need something more from the locker room. It just doesn't seem like, just from me being on social media, following the players, it doesn't seem like anyone's being held accountable. Anyone's holding the other person accountable. Because I don't think they respect the coach. I don't think they respect the coach. enough to want to win it for him, to grind it out for him. Because 2-2, man, Howie looking like, what's going on? And Jeffrey Lurie looking like, Howie, Nick, what's going on? You should want to win it for yourself. Win it for the things that come with that. The happiness, the joy, the accolades, all that good stuff. And you should want to win it because you respect your coach. Because you know if you don't, your coach's job is on the line. They've got to do better. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. So I know I always do a player of the week. So my player of the week, again, is going to be Saquon Barkley. This is Saquon's team. I don't care what you say. It's Saquon's team. He only had 10 carries this game. And late heading into the second quarter, he only had 2 carries. And he still managed to end the game rushing for 84 yards, 32 receiving yards, and a big play on 1st and 10 where he set us up for a touchdown by running the ball 59 yards down the field. But man, I'm disappointed in this team. Something has got to change. And they don't want it enough. They worried about posting on Instagram, worried about telling us off because we talking about them. Bro, that's what the media does. The media is going to talk about you. And some things they need to, some things we should mind our business and we don't deserve to speak on. But when it's your performance, that's some people's jobs. Like, they get paid to talk about the sports teams in their city's performance. And y'all performance was trash. But I'm just disappointed. I'm going to be at the next game after the bye, the Cleveland Browns game. So I'm hoping they pull it together because the Cleveland Browns have not been able to pull it together. But we should win that game against the Browns. But we'll see. I'll be at the game. Hopefully I'll catch you guys there. But until next time, thanks for tuning in. This is 4th and Wine. I'm out.